Hey everybody, Casey Currie here with Driving Line Nitto Tires. We are in the office hanging out. Man, the world is going crazy, and we are just trying to focus on building parts, working on Jeeps, getting ready to go racing. Adventures are still awaiting. But today, dude, we got a good friend, full-blown car guy, and now he is back. Welcome to the show. How have you been?
Hi, good to see you.
How's everything going?
Everything's good. I'm so glad that sorry, Lewis is making a lot of noise. I'm so glad that I actually had a chance to watch you race this year. I think like the major race already happened before all this crazy stuff happened. So it was kind of cool to see that for sure.
Yeah, dude, this year has been the weirdest year of my life. Like,
Yeah, it's been tough for everyone, and that's kind of the thing. We had to adapt. Everybody. I know a lot of people, especially in the media world, they just haven't had a chance to work. So we've been doing a lot of personal projects, which has been really nice. But we've also been printing out posters, which, by the way, I have to come by and bring a bunch of posters for you. For the
yeah, I've
office.
actually Kyle with some of actually real quick. I'm sorry, I didn't do the official. Larry Chen, professional photographer, amazing photographer, travels around the world doing it for Kim Block Hoonigan. Myself, he does it for BJ Baldwin and thousands of other people. Formula Drift, a little bit of everything. So just so everyone knows, forgot to do the whole intro of who Larry Chen is and where he is.
Yeah, I I just take pictures. I just follow awesome racing drivers like yourself, which I still have to follow you on your Dakar adventures.
Dude, you need to, because it needs to be. We need more lifestyle. I think that's what it's missing now. The further we get away from Dakar, it needs a vibe of like truly. There needs to be an understanding of not only the racing, but what goes on around it. It's truly an insane race in itself, but like the lifestyle that it has is totally different than anything else in America. It's
I can only imagine that. I mean, I've been following that kind of racing, and I've been really interested in what it is. But I that's the one thing I haven't been able to see. Like you see all the cars that are just aired out,
yeah.
from the sand dunes. You see uh, the pit stops. You see the motorcycles. You see just so much of the actual race. But I want to actually see what it's like after. After you come in for the day, people wrenching on the cars, what kind of scene it is like at night. I'm actually kind of interested in all the in between things.
Yeah, it did. And that's where like I feel that people don't understand Dakar versus like Baja or even like short course off road where just when they work on the car because it's not just getting it ready for the next day. It's getting it ready for the next 12 days or the next 11 days. So like what they're doing is the strategy of what parts are going to get changed on what night. Besides the damage that gets done on the day-to-day racing, it's also like it's a mileage game because you can't just throw new parts at it every night because the mechanics don't have enough time to do everything. And the chance of error is a lot higher when they start replacing things that don't need to be replaced every single day. And fatigue.
Yeah.
Those guys are working. Roughly, they're working from 7 p.m. till 3 to 4 a.m. for 12 days in a row.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they don't.
That's see. So while that doesn't sound like a lot of fun, I want to be a part of that so bad. I can't tell you. I just I already know. I've
Yeah.
never been, but I already know it's going to be one of my favorite races.
That's one thing I will say is like when people are like, "Oh, dude, I want to be a mechanic for a Dakar team." Like, Okay, just so you know, have you ever slept in a tent? I could. Okay, like when you show up to the car, whether it's freezing cold, 130 degrees, wind is blowing at 80 miles an hour, snow, hail, rain. There is no hotels and there's no RVs for any of the mechanics. From day one till the last day, every mechanic sleeps in a tent every single night. So after you've worked all night long, you literally have to go and lay in a tent. And mind you, the showers have no hot water. So when you go to shower in the bivouac showers, because there's no, dude, they are the gnarliest mechanics ever in the car. Because I mean, the toughness and just the strength that you have to first work on a race car, and not make any mistakes, and then second to be able to live in those conditions for 14 days, brutal.
So one, just not really to shift subjects. We're still talking about off road, but I definitely owe a lot of my off road knowledge to being with you guys, with you and your team, being able to follow you guys during racing, and also when you guys are having fun. Like the, I, there's no other reason why I would go to Moab and shoot there, as well as like the Rubicon. You know, why would I ever do that on my own? You have to be broken in from that. You know, somebody has to take you and show you the ropes. And I'm so grateful to have that friendship. And it's just been so nice not to only follow you on the racing side, but really to just hang out and be part of the crew. Uh, I owe so much to it. I mean, even to the point where you, like when we first started following King of the Hammers, and one of our mutual friends, Matt Chapman's like, hey, okay, so here's Casey Currie. You know, he's going to be one of the main guys you're going to be following. You should talk to him when he's going to hit certain spots on the course, or where to go, all of that stuff. And it's just been a learning process. I still think that me and my whole crew, we're still a little newer to the off-road racing game, even though we've been covering off-road racing for maybe 9 or 8 years now. I still kind of consider myself new, just because it's not something that I started with. You know, like with drifting, road racing, time attack, and all of that, car culture, stance, lifestyle, that's our jam normally. But we really pride ourselves in being able to shoot off-road racing. It's a completely, it's really cool to see a little bit of what you guys do. Really, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Like, I was just with Zach from Hoonigan, and he's like, "Dude, you got like the whole information thing that you hide is like only when people are with you that they get to have all that information." I'm like, no, I don't really think of it as like just like you're saying. Around us, like we're all about helping everybody out, learning. There's so much going on at better myself of teaching more people how to come out and join us in jeeping, because it is.
Yeah, and exactly. That's kind of one of the things that I always like to promote on the photography side. You know, we just try our best to get more photography, racing photography. So like we love kind of promoting that. You know, if new people want to come and I guess new people is not a good way to say it, but like people that are already in the industry that want to kind of see what it's like to shoot off-roading or off-road racing, we just take it upon ourselves to really uh, go out of our way to pass that knowledge along. You know, even if it's the point where they could just ride with us in our truck to chase you, or we just kind of give them information on where to go, potentially where to be to get the race vehicles going through the course. It's just there's just so much to learn. It's like the entry, just that curve, the learning curve is pretty insane. I mean, if you think about it, how intimidating is it for somebody to go to a Baja 1000 or King of the Hammers or whatever, Mint 400, any of the off road races? They just show up and it's like, oh my God, I have no idea where to go. You know, it's not like a
Yeah.
normal
It,
race, it's not like a circuit race. even if you go shoot Le Mans or Nürburgring or whatever, the car's gonna come around. You just
Yeah,
have to wait,
that is
and
true.
it comes to you. That's completely not the case with off-road racing. It's pretty crazy.
So now, do you ever bring out like, I mean, for that guy that might be watching, I mean, do you try to help people get into photography?
Yeah, all the time. We and maybe this is something that we can work together on soon. Hopefully, when things start opening up again, I I, I do my best, as and our whole group, we do our best to do that education side of things, and that's one of the big reasons why we've been working a lot with Canon USA. It's really hard for a lot of photographers to teach, because if they're actually doing really well as a photographer, a lot of times they just don't have the bandwidth to actually teach. They
Yeah.
don't have the bandwidth to go out of their way to teach other people how to do what they're doing for a job. And then on the flip side, some teachers don't actually know what they're teaching because they're not in the game, and they're not actually out there learning new things, learning new techniques, and keeping up with what's relevant in today's age. And videography, as also our mutual friend Kyle Chandler, he does the video side for you guys, as well as media. Things change all the time, nonstop, with social media, with the way people enjoy the content that we produce. It changes so fast. There's no place you can go to learn this stuff. You learn it on the go. I'm sure it's the same way with you, and I'm sure it's changed so much since you started racing. When you started racing, I bet it wasn't even a really big deal to let people know what you're doing, what cars you're building, or trucks or whatever. Like it's like just very minimal things that you have to talk about or post about in public. Now it's like, you have to keep everyone up to date on what's going on with
Yeah.
what you're working on.
Yeah, things are changing all the time. I mean, I'm a big fan of looking at, for myself, I look at like Kim Block, to me, how he does things, and his team around him. I'm very lucky to get the opportunity to go and partake in some events and do some video stuff with him. And just like you're saying, that knowledge base of, like, I feel like, yeah, we have a team of guys now. Kyle has two guys that actually help work for him, doing editing and video and photography, just at Currie Enterprises. And, like, dude, that knowledge base that you get, being around other people doing the same thing, it's pretty unbelievable. And, like, guys like Ken Block and the Hoonigan crew, like, the way they look at media, it's changed everything. And now you look at it, man, racing has changed so much. I don't know if you saw, actually, going on things changing, and I'm only throwing this out in left field. Bryce Menzies this weekend at the desert race up in Vegas had a live camera on his helicopter and one camera in the car live, put it on YouTube and Facebook live from the start to the finish. So, and when it went,
Wow.
and when it went out of service, it just went into a sizzle reel of basically older content. But whenever they had service on the camera, 100% live, no delay, and you could literally sit there all day long and watch him race. So obviously it was the race.
Wow.
The race was the 300 miles of Nevada desert, and it was super dusty. So he still finished second overall, but there wasn't a lot of passing going on just because of the dust and stuff. But pretty unbelievable to see that. Is this really where it's coming to? That now, instead of just watching it live from the tracking or live from the feed that the sanctioning body has, like, here one team went out and live streamed it the entire race.
I didn't even know that. And the crazy thing about that is that obviously they are confident in what they're doing. There's no cheating. You could watch what they're doing. Um, that's really cool that they're confident. Also, that they're gonna perform. Because who knows? They could have had a puncture, or they could have had some kind of failure right off the bat, and then guess what? Now it would look bad on them. But the fact that they went out to go and finish in second place looks great for them. I mean, and they honestly, a team like that, maybe they don't have to stay relevant, but I love the fact that they are still doing that.
Yeah, that me too. To me, it's I
Yeah.
agree. See, I get scared of that stuff. Like, man, because just like you're saying, I've had the days where, dude, I got a heli in the sky. I got 50 people there to help me, and dude, go six
Yeah.
miles and pop a motor, 20 miles and rip the transmission out of the thing, and you're like, dude, you're totally heartbroken. And now on top of that, it's on video and posted everywhere, and you hate to see things when they fail, but the opportunity when it shines, it's like it was truly amazing to be actually watching it when no one else was even posting photos. Not there's they do such a bad job with off-road racing of getting that content out there. It's pretty amazing to see it going that way.
Yeah, and off-road racing is just so different. It's so interesting. I mean, I guess it's kind of like what stage rally is in Europe.
Yeah.
It's, you can't really charge to watch it in
Yeah.
its raw form, right? You're just out in the world. It's public. Um, but it's and then on top of that, you just see the car for like 1 second and that's it. And it's gone forever. So I mean, the media, of course, technology, like think about it. If you had a camera streaming from your car the whole time when you're going for your win in Dakar, I mean, how awesome would that have been for people to kind of see the struggles that you had to go through?
Yeah, no, it would have been amazing for sure. I think
Yeah.
that there's so much. That's the hardest part. Is like for me, like even the last 2 days, I didn't let any cameras film me, and I never put a camera. We never ever faced a camera towards me, so there'll never be any GoPro because if a mistake happened in 2019, I made a mistake, and like I was just so like disgusted that for 2020, we never faced a camera at me the entire time. Not one. I wouldn't let any film. I wouldn't let anybody. I just didn't want. I just was so focused. And that's where it gets hard. I was so focused on winning that I didn't need any distraction or have anything else. When something went wrong, I didn't need anybody or trying to attack me for something like as far as like mistakes that I made. I just wanted to focus on myself. So I literally put no camera. I didn't want any cameras. We did no like interviews were less than like 2 minutes. We were only focused on winning. And that's where I'm like, okay, now that I've won and I can say that I've won it, to go back and just like we do in Baja, right? Like once you win it and now you partake in it, it's like now I want to share the journey with everybody. Now I want to go and be explore and let more people know about it because it truly is the most amazing thing. But it's very difficult to open up and like, because dude, when you're leading something for the first time ever, like for myself, that amount of pressure, right? Just like you're saying with Bryce and man, when something goes wrong, the world can critique the crap out of you and tell you how bad you are and the mistakes you made, and it's like, dude, being in that situation.
Well, but then they don't realize like you went out of your way to make it even possible for them to look at you and see what you're doing.
For sure. Well, dude, Larry, all right, so I want to know, the world needs to know. So Larry Chen, dude, where did you come from? I mean, what are some of your big? Well, let's just start. Where'd you come from? How did you get to where you are right now?
I think it's a pretty similar story to I think your racing background. Like to get sponsors. I'm sure you get asked all the time, day in and day out. Hey, how do I get sponsored? Right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you get asked that all the time. Like, how can I be a monster athlete? Well, it just takes so much time, so much dedication, so much hard work. There's just no overnight easy way. I've known you. I don't even know how long I've known you. I've known you for a while now, and the work ethic, it just translates. I see guys, you're always taking care of your sponsors. Anytime we're hanging out at your pits or anytime we're on a shoot with you, you're just so in tune to focus on pretty much everything else that's going on. And I guess it's really good that when you're actually racing, when you're actually going for that first place, you try to tune other things out, because normally you're worried about, hey, am I fed? Are my guys fed? are your crew guys happy? You know, do they get enough sleep? All of that. It's all the little things, really. And for me, when I started, um, it's just about grinding, just doing whatever I can, anything that I could to get out there. And with off-road racing, the way I got into it was that I just kind of put in the effort to go myself, me with a couple friends, like, hey, let's pull our money together. Maybe we can split fuel costs, go out there, sleep in the truck, and in the morning, guess what? The race happens, and let's kind of make our attempt at shooting this different style of racing that we're not used to. It was just always so intriguing for me, and it was so foreign, and that's kind of why I wanted to make give it a shot. It's just so visually appealing, and it's completely different. It's like a 3D thing versus with normal cars, it's like so 2D. You know, it's only a left, right, forward, and backwards. With off-road racing, there's just that elevation change. You could be jumping in the air, you could G out, you could. There's just so many different things. It's just a different element. I just knew after seeing content from it that it's something that I had to get into.
So do you like shooting it more than? I mean, that's what like. Is it fun to shoot it versus like shooting drift or cars?
It's fun in a different way. It's fun for me to shoot anything. It's fun for me to shoot drifting and just a car just parked in a nice location. It's off road is nice because
What happened?
I froze.
You froze?
Yeah.
Oh,
Am I live?
yeah, you're still alive.
Hold on, people. We small.
Go ahead and talk to that camera real quick.
Sorry, we Larry he froze. All right, we are having some technical difficulties. Not sure what happened. We are today's been a crazy day. We lost phones and now we just lost Wi-Fi. So we're getting Larry back on, get this conversation back started, and please, if you guys got any questions for Larry Chen, let us know. Dude, he is a phenomenal photographer. He's gone and traveled all over the world. So if you got anything for him, let us know, or myself. You want to go jeeping? 4th of July weekend. Gonna go find something to do. We are actually looking at going to Johnson Valley on Saturday, doing a little exploring out there. It might take the kids. Just bought a KTM 50 for my son, or in the process of buying a KTM 50, so that way we can go out and have some fun. So we'll see how that goes. Now we're trying to get back live here. It's never easy. Here we go.
Hi.
There we go.
Wait, so you guys are just recording it to go on later?
No, we're live. We are on YouTube right now.
Oh, we're live.
We're live.
Hi.
We're on.
I didn't even realize.
Yeah, it's live to Facebook and YouTube right now. We're on right now, but dude, we had our internet or our phone lines went down like 2 hours ago, and then
Oh no.
I don't know, I think the delay in that, it all of a sudden basically died. Our Wi-Fi just died, so everything
okay.
shut down. But we're back. We're back. So, and we were talking. I didn't want to cut you off, but we were talking about you and how you got into basically photography as a whole. So, will Kyle cut this and edit it back? It'll make it look good for a pre-show. So, but we want to know. I want to know where how you got into photography, and is it capable for other people to get into the industry?
Yeah, now more than ever, it's I don't want to say it's easier. It's still very, very hard. But back then when I first started, there wasn't any social media. It was just MySpace.
Yeah.
I mean, did you have a MySpace page?
Of course I did.
I think everybody had a MySpace page.
Moved my friends around.
But it was forums, and it was me like cold emailing people, sending out photos and asking like, hey, here's the photos. Like, would you be interested in purchasing them, or would you like me to have? Uh, would you like me to come out to your next event or whatever? It was just so much grinding, and when I look back on it, it was, of course, it was a lot of fun. But now, if you're excellent at what you do and you put it on social media and you get it in front of the right eyes, and right away, people will be able to hire you on the spot pretty much. They'll be able to contact you and they'll be able to use your stuff. And on top of that, like the appetite for content now is just so bright, as you can imagine. I mean, you guys are shooting so much, and what do you guys do? You guys are a race team, but it seems like by yourself, it's a media house. Let alone like with people like Hoonigan and Ken Block, they're a media machine. They pump out so much content. I don't know how anybody has enough hours in the day to watch all of the content that comes out from just Hoonigan alone, let alone so many other people's YouTube content.
We were actually looking at their a couple weeks ago. We saw they put up a thing. They're putting like 5 shows out a week, and it's like, how do you even do? Or it was 5 a day, Kyle?
It's even more than that, because
it's crazy.
2 a day. How many? What
was it, Kyle?
I think it was 2 a day for 5 days a week.
Yeah, shows.
Yeah, well, yeah. That makes sense, because we're coming out just on autofocus 3 a week, so we make up 3 of those, and yeah, it's like, it's the TV replacement now. It comes out at the same time. It's like clockwork, and it's just free content for car people to enjoy. Honestly, growing up, I wish I had something like this, like what it is now. Growing up, we had to buy DVDs, like Best Motoring Option. We had to spend quite a bit of money to buy DVDs, and on top of that, they didn't come out that often. They only came out once a month, but it was a pretty big event, as you can imagine, when it did come out, because my friends and I, we would all gather up and we would spend the day, whatever, doing car things, mod days. We work on our cars, and the end of the day, guess what we get to do? We actually get to sit down, and we actually had a chance to watch all this DVD content.
It is crazy because my kids, like, now that you say it like that, I never, my kids are gonna have so much more knowledge as far as cars, racing, just things on the YouTube that obviously we never had. Like they're gonna have their knowledge is gonna be totally different because of YouTube. And obviously we watch what they're watching at all times, but it's pretty unbelievable the stuff that these kids get to watch before they're watching. They don't watch TV ever. I don't even have DirecTV or TV channels in my house. I got Apple TV with Netflix and YouTube.
Yeah, it's kind of bad to say when we do get on shows. I'm sure it's the same way with you. When you actually get on mainstream TV, I have no way to watch it.
I know. I'm the same.
Dude,
so funny.
I haven't even seen a couple episodes that I've been on mainstream TV. I've never seen it before, and people take pictures of it and screenshot it of them watching at home, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Like that's awesome. That's me on TV, but I've never seen that episode.
It's funny. I actually quit. I watched every single race I ever raced in on TV up until I got rid of it. And like when I was my last 2 years of short course off road, I actually didn't watch any of it. Whether I won, got second, got third, got fifth, DNF, crashed.
Well, this is something Chris Forsberg.
Oh yeah.
This is something that Forsberg said. He's like, all right, just don't complain that I'm not watching it, because guess where I am? I'm in the car. I'm actually driving. So it's the same way with you. You're like, hey, yeah, it'd be cool for me to watch it, but guess where I was? I'm I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm on the podium. I'm
Yeah.
inside the car.
Dude,
Like,
that is,
right?
yeah,
Like
that is
10
true.
tear-offs
Yeah,
before you
right.
get to the first corner.
Crandon.
Uh, yeah. So like it's that's what it is, you know. You're actually making the content. You're in front of the camera, so it's really really hard for you to actually sit down later and enjoy it.
Yeah.
I can't even. I mean, we come out with 3 episodes a week. I can't watch our own episodes. I just can't.
How,
There's
now, do
so
you,
much content.
on that, so you're a photographer. Now, I mean, with this whole live show thing, so now you have your own YouTube. I mean, with Hoonigan, but you have your own YouTube about you and the shooting you do. So,
Yes, yes,
dude,
yes. Which yesterday's episode was of you, of your car.
yeah, Kyle
Yeah,
just sent it to me. So
yeah,
I haven't
and
watched it yet,
and
but Kyle
yeah.
sent it to me.
No, don't watch it because you were there.
I was there.
You know
I
everything
want to
that we
know.
talked about
Well,
because you were.
I need to watch that because I truly love my 67 Camaro and that I don't drive it enough. And
Yeah,
but I want to learn.
that thing, that thing is so rowdy. I can't believe. I mean, that's kind of what these cars need, right? They need to be updated, and they need to be made safer and faster and better looking, you know, for the modern world. And that's what you did. The fact that if you could ever imagine, like, who would ever have an old school Camaro like that with a sequential transmission, you know, that's kind of insane. Um, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So we come out with 3 episodes a week. Uh, like for example, with this past weekend, I was in Chicago. I was shooting at Grid Life, which I think would be a cool event that you have to go to one day. We actually went out there, and I actually ended up with 7 episodes of Hoonigan Autofocus. It sounds like a lot, but that goes quick. You know, it's just a little bit over 2 weeks worth of content, and we have to do that all the time. Otherwise, we'll run out of content. But the nice thing is, we live in a world now where project cars are more accessible than ever, and so many people are building amazing cars with great stories, and they don't all have to be very expensive. You know, while I love your build, and there was so much thought put into it. It's definitely like a higher budget build compared to what we're normally featuring. Normally, we're just featuring more just grassroots, super grassroots, very culture oriented builds, garage builds, like late night, after work kind of builds. Those are just as interesting as the higher end dollar builds. Like, for example, yesterday I shot Jeff Pike's Peak car. That's what, a $1.5 million car or more. I don't even know how much those things are worth now. That that is like on the high end.
Yeah.
You know, that the fact that I could shoot that and I could tell the story of that, and then the next day I could shoot some drift car that the body panels are falling apart, and uh, it's like very gritty and there's a lot of patina. I think that's fun. You know, that's kind of the fun thing about it is I can tell both stories, and it could all just be in one place. And you know, sometimes you know things it's tough because we feature a little bit of everything. It could be Japanese, it could be American, it could be German. Uh, you know, sometimes we feature things that I personally like, maybe the audience doesn't like, or some things that I personally may not be super into, but I could see why it would be cool. And then I feature it, and then everyone goes crazy over it. You know, there's just so many different things that in the car culture world that we're able to just enjoy.
Yeah. Now that's cool. So everyone needs to go check out on YouTube. Now I got a question for you. Out of all the shoots you've
Mm.
ever done for, let's say, stack like a car that isn't moving, what would be
Mhm.
your favorite shoot you've ever done for a car that like wasn't moving? You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
a car that was being built, an exotic car, a car with a big engine, a stock car, just a unique. What would be your top stagnant car shoot?
That's a good question. You know, I've shot so many different cars over the years in different stages of the car. I've even shot cars that are finished, but they're not finished. You know, like
Yeah,
they
yeah,
bring it to the event. Like a lot of SEMA cars are like that. But I've
yeah.
shot cars with no brakes, but it's like, oh, we took it to the show, and even though there's no brakes, you have to shoot the car. You know, just don't shoot any side profiles. It has to be front three quarter, rear three quarter with the tires turned so it blocks the
That's fun.
brakes.
I've been there, so
You
I
know,
can't even
like
talk trash.
yeah,
I've been,
exactly.
yeah.
Like, you know, sometimes you just have to make it to the show that you promise your sponsors.
Yep.
Like, hey, yeah, I'm definitely gonna make it to the show. And but certain things aren't working on it. Uh, I've shot so many. That's a really good question. Oh, okay, I have a good answer for you. One thing I really enjoyed was I enjoyed going to Shelby in Las Vegas, and I enjoyed shooting these raw aluminum body Cobras.
Oof.
You know, like the 200 $300,000 raw hand formed aluminum bodied cars that don't even have a motor in them, that are just sitting out there and it's just going down the assembly line. It's like the purest form of making a car, hand built car, and they're just so crazy. And I could see that, well, most people who actually buy them, they won't be able to enjoy it in that way. They
Yeah.
won't be able to see it in that stage of its life.
Those are some beautiful cars.
Yeah.
It's what that's the craziest thing that I love and hate about the car culture is that like
Mm.
my Camaro is all original body, no rust, no bondo, no filler, no nothing. And it's like everyone's like, "Oh, dude, you should go do Gymkhana Grid," which I'm probably going to do. But I'm sitting there going like, "How close do I got to get to a K-row?" Because like I have there is no rear clip for it right now. I mean, I can put one on there if I backed it into a wall, but it's like it's 100% original. Then you look at a car like those Shelbys that are all aluminum, and when they're done and they're painted and there's no bondo, and that thing was welded together and sanded smooth, and you look at it, you're going like it. It truly is the most beautiful work of art out there. Like for me, being a fabricator, it's insane. They are such beautiful machines out there that there's so many hours. I mean, you go like, yeah, I got whatever 27,000 hours in the body alone. You're going like, dude, how could somebody afford that? Because I mean, it is truly a work of art.
Well, I'm just glad that stuff like that still exists in the world, you know. In our age of eco-friendly and all that. That's kind of why a lot of people like to make fun of newer cars, like for example the A90 Supra, right? A lot of people like to make fun of the fact that, oh yeah, you know, it's a Toyota slash BMW or whatever. There's cars like that all the time. Uh, and the reason why they exist is because there's still enthusiasts pushing for these kind of cars to exist. You know, like why does the Jeep Trackhawk exist? What would you use that for?
Yeah.
You know, it's so much power and it has launch control and all of that. It's the craziest thing. What are you gonna do? Use it to get groceries all the time? No, you that thing exists because guess what? It's a cool car. It puts smiles on faces, and it's something that it's just something to aspire to. You know, it's something so awesome, good looking, but also it performs.
Yeah.
In this day and age, if any manufacturer comes out with something like that, good for them. You know, good for them. It's
Yeah.
for the enthusiasts. It's for people like us.
Yeah.
Um, Otherwise, what's the point? You know, we're just gonna drive around in these washing machines, these appliances. That's boring.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I agree. All right, I got another one for you. All right, what is the most like adrenaline rushed shot that you got that was like, dude, I've never that was like your heart was racing, that you got the shot and it was like, dude, there's nothing that can touch this and
Hmm, that's a good one. Um, that is a really good one. I mean, honestly, I, that happens pretty often. Lucky for me, I put myself into that situation where I'm pushing so hard to look out for those shots. Everything that I've done up until this point is just kind of building experience for me to be able to get that next shot. And just to give you a good example, uh, like for example, if I was chasing you at King of the Hammers, right? And I know that you're gonna come in for a lap and potentially, depending on traffic, if it's a year where you're going up backdoor,
Okay.
it's because one of the things that I think you told me is that you basically have to see if it's too long of a line,
Yep.
right, to go up this obstacle. It's a dried up waterfall. If it's too long of a line, you're just gonna wait till the next lap.
Yep.
But if it's open, then you're just gonna have to do it, and you're gonna have to get out of the way because it's pretty much the hardest obstacle on the whole course. So since we're following you, usually we really pinnacle moments during a race. And going up that obstacle is pretty much one of the highlights. That and
Yeah.
then you crossing the finish line. If I were to if I were to be in that area where you are, if I find you on the tracker and oh look, he's coming in, and it's one of those things where I see you turn and then you go up actually go into that obstacle, and if we're like driving by and then we just park, I don't know how much time I have before you actually go over that. It could be 2 minutes, it could be 5 minutes. If you have to winch, it could be 10 minutes, right?
Yep.
We're basically tripping over our own feet trying to get there. We do everything we can, and I try to go as fast as I can, spraying my ankles, dropping cameras, whatever, anything that we can to be able to get that shot, because that shot will never happen ever again.
Yeah.
It's so that kind of stuff happens all the time, whether we're chasing off-road racing or if we're chasing on-road racing. It's just rally racing. It happens all the time where there's a sense of urgency, not so much because we'll lose our job
Oh yeah.
because we missed it.
Yeah.
It's a pride thing.
Yeah.
It's there's a reason why we are where we are in this game, in this world, in this industry. I just am so prideful of all of the work that we do all the time.
Yeah, and now like even for that, like like one of my shots that I don't know even if you took it. I'm assuming you did. Was in Gymkhana when Ken put that Mustang on the verge of the cliff and like the
Yeah.
roost. Like to me, that shot probably will never happen again in its life. And
Yeah.
like, I mean, that is an unbelievable shot. That
Yeah.
that's why even when my question I was like like I is like that is an amazing shot.
So that was more of a calculated shot. So it's funny that you mentioned that. So if you saw Lewis in the background,
Yeah.
running back and forth, he was actually packing up those posters. So we've been printing those posters. That's kind of one of the things we've been doing during this off time. We actually got Canon to work with us on a commercial printer. So we've been printing that exact picture, 6 feet long.
No way.
6 feet by 2 feet. So, which I have to, next time I come by your shop, I'll bring you a really large print. Remember when, who was it that was driving your vehicle when I was shooting Bond's car? Was it
my
one of your mechanics was driving the vehicle, testing it out? Your King of the Hammers car.
Probably.
Oh, it was Justin. Yeah. Mr.
Okay.
White,
Yeah.
Mr. White Girl Wasted Justin. Yeah. He was driving it, and I was freaking out because I was
Oh.
shooting Vaughn. Yeah, I was shooting Vaughn's car, and I was like, "There's this big cloud of dust in the distance. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger." And I knew a fast vehicle was coming, and we were blocking the road. So I was thinking, like, "Oh man, this guy, he's gonna at least bring us some nice atmosphere, you know." When he comes by, the dust is gonna be so big. And then I saw that it was your car, and I started yelling. I was like, "Oh my god, it's Casey!" Of course, it turned out to be Justin. But I asked him, I was like, "Hold on, stay there." I pulled off Vaughn's Ranger off to the side, and I was like, "Hey, park this thing, you know, turn the wheel, all that, turn on every single light." And I did just a super quick, uh, just completely unplanned photo shoot of your race vehicle without you knowing. But anyways, with that, what I did was I did a couple stitch shots of that, and I made it super big so you could blow it up to the size of a billboard. But I did the same thing with Ken Block's Gymkhana. I I stitched it all a bunch of photos together. The actual photo of Ken actually going off is just that. It's just the car and the roost of the dirt. The rest of that image, it being 6 feet, is me constantly going back and forth, just tile by tile, like taking the picture over and over and over. I mean, you know, you've been on so many productions, you know, things take a long time.
Yes.
Drone needs to go in the air. The cameras need to start rolling. Camera car, video village, just everything. Plus the car needs to warm up. There's like so many things. Like tires need to get warm. Um, uh, Safety, whatever lockdown
Yep.
needs to be locked down. The police, everything, streets, everything needs to happen. And then meanwhile, when I'm waiting for that shot, I'm freaking out because like I'm tiling them. I keep doing it over and over and over again. And guess what happens? The clouds come in. And then I'm like, okay, now it's cloudy. So let me retake everything in this cloudy situation. And then the sun comes out. And I'm like, oh no, now the sun comes out. So now I have to redo everything. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm just doing like a scenic panoramic shot of what I'm seeing, you know? And then once Ken comes through, I take that one photo and I place it into that big image. So I did it. I must have done it 5 times because the light changed about 5 times in between us waiting for drone, us waiting for so and so, you know, to get out of the way.
But he only did it once, right?
So he did it 2 times. Well, technically 3 times. So first time was he just drove at like 5 miles an hour, okay, just to see the road. And what he did was he stacked a bunch of rocks on top of each other,
I think
so he could
I saw
see.
that in the Amazon files.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
stacked a bunch of rocks on top of each other, so he could see exactly where the edge was. Went over the edge, he would have died. Uh, like no
Gnarly.
joke, you know. Um, so he stacked the rocks on top of each other as a marker, and then he drove it at 5 miles per hour just to see it. And we're like, all right, cool. He saw it. Second time he came around, he did it and he did like a half spin out. And then he like whatever clutched in or put into gear and then pulled out of it. It was already sketchy. We're like, I don't know, man. I don't know how many times he can do this, you know?
So my adrenaline's rushing right now.
It. Yeah, he did it. And we're like, I mean, how much more does he want to do it? You know, that was pretty crazy already. We all started freaking out. Then the third time is when he actually did it and hung it out. And you could just see how much the front tires were clawing at the pavement to get it back out of the dirt. You know, because if it kept going, he would have just gone off. And Evo corner, I don't know. Have you seen that video of that Evo going off?
Oh yeah,
that
yeah,
corner?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that you know that car is in the Pikes Peak Museum. There's like it's just a mangled piece of metal.
Yeah.
You know, like there's like nothing left of that car. And the reason why there's the the driver and the co-driver are alive is because they got stuck on a rock. Like one rock just, if you look at the entire side of that hill, there's only one boulder that's sticking out, and they got stuck on that one. Yeah. Otherwise, they would have kept going down and down and down and down. So, because it's not a sheer drop, what happens is when you go off there, you just start rolling on these rocks up until that you just can't stop, and you just keep rolling down the hill. You know. So if you see my photo, that's 6 feet long, you could see that I'm looking at it right now. Actually, I have it hung up. It's there's nowhere it possibly could have stopped. And the crazy thing is the Unicorn, while the Unicorn is very well built, and it's kind of a groundbreaking build. I know you've seen it.
Yeah.
It was actually not meant to be a race car. You know, it was built to be a filming car. So the way they built it, like a lot of the things, including the roll cage, there's just a lot of places that they actually use for the filming purposes. You know, to put cameras or whatever.
Oh, that no way! I didn't know that. That's super clean.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point, because guess what it was for? It was for filming. So that's why it's so easy to mount all these things on it. Yeah. But anyways, that was definitely one of those moments where it was like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened.
Well, now, all right. So, what was your, out of all the shoots you've ever been on, what do you think was one of your most epic, like, dude, that was just amazing. I don't care if it was just the photography and the video going on or the production going on, or just an amazing place that you're like, dude, this trip has just been a trip of a lifetime.
I have a really good answer. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah,
I just can't pinpoint one. Really, there's just so many. Every time we go out and shoot, it's always such a special event, special time, because of the people that we meet, the friends that we make. Because it's hard to single anyone out, but actually doing Goodwood Festival of Speed with you guys, staying at your place, was really, really fun. It was absolutely amazing. It was so cool because it's an event that I've always wanted to do. Do you remember if that was your first year doing it?
We only did it once. My brother's the one that drove that year.
Oh, that's right.
I got
you
to
weren't even there.
I didn't. I got to do. Well, I got invited to both, and then they put they moved dates of like the Baja 500, and
that's right. I remember now.
My brother's like, no problem, I'll go, and turned out to be like this sick. I got to do. It
was so cool.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
It's amazing how as a car enthusiast, that it doesn't matter if you're into NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, drift, exotic cars, cars from other countries, off-road, that they can get those all there and let them run. And it's truly an amazing event.
Hey, how about that time that we went to England for Battle Drift?
Oh, dude, that was was a lot of fun.
That you just came off from a win too, I think. Right?
Yeah, dude, I won in Chicago. On the way there.
That's like the most. That's the most Casey Currie thing ever. That's like, all right, I just won Pro Light, right?
Yeah, it's Pro Light.
Yeah, I won Pro Light. Okay, got the champagne. All right, fun. Now I'll get on a plane to the UK.
Yeah.
And then I joined this huge production with
Bagsy,
with myself, and Bagsy, and man, this is so crazy. And those kind of events are so much fun and stressful for me because very little sleep. You're pushing hard to do 20-hour days, maybe more. And it's actually very little action. And that's kind of the hard part of it, right?
Yeah.
So especially that one, there were weather challenges, there were mechanical challenges. And I know you were probably waiting around for a long time, but as soon as you got in the car, it's like, hey, it's go time. We have to perform.
Yeah. Yeah, the production thing, but that place was truly amazing. Like all the historic buildings and all the bricks and just the way, that place was really amazing. I agree.
Yeah.
But
so for those of you guys watching, make sure you go to watch Battle Drift 2.
That was a good video.
Which, featuring Bagsy, Daigo, and Casey.
Oh, dude, that car. That's. I was thinking of when you were saying like we had some car problems. I was thinking of like, okay, what did Bagsy? And then I was like, no, Diago, his motor, and he changed his motor.
Yeah.
In a
Yeah.
random
No.
garage.
Daigo changed.
Or transmission.
No, that it was the clutch.
Oh yeah, I pulled the
clutch
transmission.
and it's Aventador, right? I think. Yeah, Aventador.
Yes.
Yeah, the Lamborghini. And they got so lucky. It was like the one that they had in the UK. Like they found it somehow.
So gnarly.
And somebody drove it in, and they spent all night, overnight, to change the clutch in that thing. And then they finished the video. It was the craziest thing.
That was. Yeah, that's what's so gnarly about all this filming stuff, or like how much effort goes into it. Like when you start talking about it on the photo side or even on the production side, is that like when you start bringing it up, it always looks so good on camera. You almost forget. You forget all the stuff that goes into it on the shooting side, on the pre-production, production,
and in the end of the day, you look at the video. How long is the video? Like 8 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Like we spend so much effort, so much time, traveled. All of this just to get this 8-minute video just for someone to enjoy for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we want sponsors. Kyle's got some questions. Kyle's got some questions for you. What do you got, Kyle?
Kyle.
So one of the things that we've asked on a couple of the shows is what was your first car that you ever owned?
Oh, my first car was 1994 Nissan Maxima SE 5-speed manual with VLSD. I thought I was hot shit because it was a 4-door sports car.
Yeah.
And it was actually pretty fast. I actually raced quite a few people, and I was surprised how many cars I could keep up with. But I mean, at the time, Nissan was kind of touting it as their 4-door performance sports car or whatever. But yeah, I like that, and that kind of got me into being able to wrench on my own car and fix things and restore things, and it was pretty cool. So my second car actually was the 240Z that I have.
Oh, still. Really?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
How's that thing coming right now?
Yeah, so that is near San Francisco at Z Car Garage. It's getting a new cooling system. I'm changing the ECU to a Haltech system, and I'm also getting upgraded brakes that are actually made by StopTech here in SoCal. But yeah, it's going to be really cool. I can't wait to drive it. It's just one of those things where it's like a lifelong project. I don't know. Do you have any lifelong cars?
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah. You don't get attached to your cars because you jump them.
Yeah.
And then you're done.
I just bought actually my grandpa's last Jeep he built before he passed away. Seriously built. It was built 15 years ago, and like he was just so ahead of the times. Like his style, what he imagined, what he built, what he created. Like I just bought it off my uncle's.
Wait, so ago. Are you gonna restore that, or are you gonna
Dude,
keep
it's
it?
mint condition. It's been sitting in our garage at our river house since he basically when he got sick. Shoot, it's been 10 years ago. He built it. I think he built it 15 years ago, and then he got sick. He got sick 15. It was like 5 years after. Yeah, whatever. 10 years ago, whenever he got sick, he just he couldn't drive anymore. So we parked it at our river house, and we're using it to tow a boat. Like literally this Jeep, but it's a Jeep TJ, and then he completely made custom fenders for it, custom hood, put an LS3, an aluminum block LS3. Dude, he wired it himself so that all the stock gauges worked. It's got 37s, but it sits 2 inches lower than stock. He did a custom, crazy custom suspension, just everything in the workmanship is phenomenal. Right now, today, that look is in. That's this style that he has is totally in right now. And dude, it's like he knew, he just had that vibe. That's kind of, so I bought that, and I'm not restoring it, but I'm gonna modify it enough to make it, I think, a little bit more edgy. But I
feel like that should be your lifer car.
That's probably is my lifer car.
I think so. It has so much history, and the fact that your grandfather built it as his last car, it's like I don't want to compare him to Enzo Ferrari, but it's like that kind of
Yeah.
right. Like it's like the it's like the F40 of the Currie family. You
Yeah.
got to keep it good and you got to keep it alive, and you have to enjoy it and take it out. Still drive it hard. Take it to Moab,
Yep.
but yeah, it would be cool. Actually, that would be really cool to see
Yeah.
something.
You gotta.
I don't think
It,
the two times that I have gone out to Moab with you guys, I don't think I've even seen a TJ on any of the trails.
Yeah, because most of the times we like, dude, and super funny. Like, uh, I feel that we've kind of gone this new way of like the new Jeeps, yada yada yada, and like now that I have that, I have like, I don't know, I enjoy it. I think there's a whole nother group of people that go out there with TJs in that older group, and I'm doing some revisions to it right now. I'm gonna do some just moderate. I gotta update the axles because obviously we're Currie and we gotta have the most up to date axles in it. But like as far as the build, the look, the style, the vibe, it's not gonna go away. And just like you said, like it is his style. Like I feel that I'm the perfect storm between my dad and him, and like that vibe of how I build and how I think. I feel that I got that from him, and like obviously that thing shows it for sure. So pretty stoked to now own it.
Awesome.
So Kyle, what do you got next?
So kind of an answer to the earlier question with saying what was like the scariest photo or situation he's ever been in. And I know you've been on the side of racetracks and Baja and King of Hammers Mint where trucks are doing 90 plus 100 miles an hour next to you. But I think the sketchiest moment truly was when we were in Moab and you slid probably 50 feet down a cliff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of those moments. If I mean, I guess that's a bad thing. But yeah, that was super sketchy.
I bet you slid a long
Yeah.
ways on your butt, and then your
Oh my
cameras were
God.
sliding.
What's crazy is I still have those pants. Like I slid on these EMT pants and they actually saved my life, I feel like, versus tumbling. Like I just sat down and I just slid down it and it was fine afterwards. I didn't
That-
I didn't break any cameras. Nothing happened. I just got up and I climbed back up. It was pretty crazy.
That is funny.
Yeah.
So if you,
But I'm glad that happened. Now I know. Now I know not to get too close to the edge.
yeah. By the way, everyone knows he was basically standing on like 200 foot. We were in Moab Cliffhanger, and it's like these massive all slate rock poles, and it's like 150 feet tall, and he's at the top shooting down, and then he's like trying to walk down on the edge, and then ended up in the bowl sliding as we're all watching from the bottom, and he slid basically all the way to the bottom, holding two gnarly cameras or two cameras with gnarly lenses, and dude, we all thought it was over. No,
Yeah.
that was a crazy.
I just landed. It was perfect. I slid down like it was a slide, and I just hit my feet, on the dirt, and then I got up. I'm like, I'm okay. And then yeah, everyone's like, oh my God,
Yeah,
this guy
that was
sucked.
gnarly.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, like I said, I'm actually glad that happened to me because now I have the experience. Like now I know, stay away from the edges.
yeah, we don't. The edges in Moab. There's so many of those fine line moments. So
Oh my God! And when we were there, the same event, what Walker Evans tried to drive off the
dude,
edge. Oh my God!
if people
I have
only,
photos of that.
that was the gnarliest moment.
Okay,
Ever.
if he kept going, that would have been a tragedy.
It would have been. If only people.
That
knew
would have been a funeral.
100%. That was 200 or 300.
Okay, so can you tell people what actually happened? So we were following Walker in his Jeep, his blue JK, right?
Yeah, so he's in his blue JK. We're on Moab Rim, and basically, the first obstacle, we're on the cliff. You're on the side of a cliff. You're climbing from river at the same basically level as the river, and you're climbing up rapidly. So now we're at 200 feet above the river. It's straight vertical cliff, and it makes a 90-degree turn on an obstacle. So it's a challenge, but you got to go up and make a 90-degree turn. Well, the sun was coming up. It was in the morning, shooting straight in his eyes, and he thought the road went straight.
No, I don't think so.
And
I don't.
Or that's what he
I don't
said.
think so. There wasn't, because I remember I shot the photo of it. I'm gonna pull it up right now. I shot a photo of it, and it was all in shadow.
But oh, really? Maybe.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he drove.
What year was that? Do you remember what year it was?
No, I don't. It'd have been 15 or 16.
Maybe
2016?
16, I think.
Okay, I'm looking through my.
But he drove, and he was his front tires were hanging off a cliff, 200, 300 feet up, and his rear.
Found it.
The rear end, that shock bolt caught on a rock and stopped the Jeep. He was spinning out, trying to get it to go, but it was hung up on a shock bolt. Saved his life. And
Oh my God!
it was, man.
It saved his life.
It did.
Without a doubt. See, it was all in shadow.
He said the sun.
No,
There we go, right there.
it was all in shadow.
The
You see it?
just go back a little, right there. So what you're
Yeah.
seeing, his two front tires, that is the river bottom. That's river bottom right there, and there's nothing there.
Dude, he would have drowned.
Oh God, it could have been gnarly. The hard part was we had to run back down the hill to go get him.
No, the crazy thing is this right here. You know, those are burnout marks.
And he was trying to drive forward. If the rear shock mount didn't get stuck on the rock, it was going off.
Both front tires were clawing away. Like, this tire's completely off. That's already gone.
Yeah, that's floating.
Yeah. That's
so wild.
floating.
That's crazy.
And then he did a burnout and with that front tire, and I think even the rears were doing burnout.
Yeah, because the rears were stuck. Well, it was locked. So he was all four wheels. Oh, and it's got a V8. So power is not a problem. So like when he says he's burning out, he's burning out. So no,
Right.
God, that was amazing.
But look how many people it took just to unhinge.
Oh, there's two winches.
get up.
That we had two Jeeps, those
Yeah.
two and two winches to get that thing unstuck.
Yeah, so sun in my eyes, my ass.
Yeah.
Look at this is completely in the shadow.
I don't. Yeah, that's.
You know,
he
the
was.
sun is all the way back here.
Yeah. Then it was.
But for anyone who's watching, if you want to see the actual photo in full res, you just go to my website, larrychenphoto.com, and it's in my best of 2016 photos.
It made it into the best.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
Are you
awesome.
kidding me? that photo, it was like emotional for me. You know, it was like, oh my God, like this guy made it. How old was he?
He's still
75?
charging hard. No, he's gonna be older than that. He's charging hard.
How old was he then? 75.
I don't know.
He must have been.
He's
But anyways, it's like he made it 75 years.
it's so gnarly.
And to this point, a dumb shock.
Yeah.
What was it?
There's
a bolt?
Well, it was a bolt. The bolt that holds the shock in was stuck on the rock. It was wedged into the rock.
That saved
That's
saved his life.
Nothing else was holding that Jeep. Pretty wild.
But the crazy thing is, like the crazy thing to me was how long it took for the people behind him to realize that he was trying to go straight, not go right, where the actual trail goes.
Yeah, I don't. You know, when you look back, why was he leading anyways? So
sorry,
no.
sorry, Mr. Evans.
Yeah,
you know?
he had a good time with that one. All right, well, hey,
Yeah,
it's
oh
already
my God.
it's already 5:15, dude. Larry, taking so much of your time, I appreciate it.
No worries.
Stories for days, dude. You have
We
had some good
we
times.
have the dumbest stories. Huh?
Yeah. Well,
we have
dude,
some serious stuff.
we need to go jeeping soon. You need to come with us.
Yeah,
The
I
virus
love
has
that.
not affected the desert. We need to go out and go do some exploring soon. So we'll get in touch.
I love that.
And but dude, thank you so much.
let's do it.
Where can everyone find you? So if anyone wants to watch us later, we'll come find you. Where can
Yeah,
they find you?
If everyone just wants to kind of see what I'm doing day in and day out, just follow me on Instagram. Just go to just search Larry Chen on Instagram. And if people want to watch what we're doing on the video side, just go to Hoonigan Autofocus on YouTube. That's our YouTube channel, and we come out with 3 episodes a week.
Dude, crazy. Well, dude, thank you so much, Larry.
Yeah.
And
No, thank you.
let's catch up soon. And thank you guys. Driving Line, thank you so much, everybody out there. We appreciate the time, the support, and man, we'll be back next week. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.